Okay, then let's start portal hypertension. What is portal hypertension? It refers to the elevated pressure in the portal venous system. The venous pressure more than 5 mm Hg greater than the inferior vena cava pressure is defined as portal hypertension. Okay, the portal hypertension means the increased pressure in the portal venous system more than 5 mm Hg. The clinical significant portal hypertension is present when the gradient exceeds 10 mm Hg. The risk of variceal bleeding increase beyond the gradient of the 12 mm Hg. Okay, it means the pressure that's gradient exceed 10 mm Hg, that is clinically significant. Okay, it increase beyond the gradient of the 12 mm Hg, that is there is a risk for the variceal bleeding. Next, what are the causes of the portal hypertension? Three main causes are prehepatic, hepatic and posthepatic. The prehepatic causes are portal vein thrombosis, splenic vein thrombosis, massive splenomegaly, congenital portal atresia, phlebitis of portal vein, pancreatitis, trauma, hypercoagulable states. The portal vein thrombosis means the blockage or narrowing of the portal vein by blood clot, that is portal vein thrombosis. Then splenic vein thrombosis and massive splenomegaly. The splenomegaly means the enlargement of the spleen. That is a massive splenomegaly. It's a massive enlargement of the spleen. Then congenital portal atresia. The portal atresia means the congenital disorder. It's a rare abnormality that results from the adherent venous development in the early embryonic life. There is absence of the portal vein. It's a congenital portal atresia. Next is the phlebitis of the portal vein. That means the inflammation of the portal vein. Then pancreatitis, inflammation of the pancreas. Then trauma. Then hypercoagulable state. Hypercoagulable state means the abnormal increased tendency towards the blood clotting. Okay, these are the prehepatic causes of portal hypertension. The hepatic causes are the pre-sinusoidal, sinusoidal and post-sinusoidal. The word meaning of the sinusoidal means it's from the branches of portal vein, that is sinusoidal. And the first one is the pre-sinusoidal causes are the schistosomiasis. Okay, the schistosomiasis is also known as the snail fever. Okay, it's most commonly affecting to the children because this disease is spread by the contact with the fresh water. Okay, that fresh water is contaminated the parasite. Thus parasites are released from the infected freshwater snail. Okay, these parasites are released from the infected freshwater snail. So it's also known as the snail fever. It's most commonly affecting to the children. That is the schistosomiasis. In case of the schistosomiasis, the patient having the portal hypertension and ascites. Ascites means the accumulation of fluid in the peritoneal cavity. Okay, this is one of the causes of the portal hypertension. Next is a congenital hepatic fibrosis. Okay, the fibrosis means the formation of the fibrosis tissue. It's a congenital hepatic fibrosis. And the sinusoidal causes are the liver cirrhosis, the alcoholic hepatitis. We have already discussed this topic in the previous class. This is the post-sinusoidal, that is the hepatic sinusoidal obstruction, that is veno-occlusion syndrome. Next is the post-hepatic causes are the Budd-Chiari syndrome. The Budd-Chiari syndrome is the very rare condition blood clot that partially or completely block the blood flow from the liver. Okay, in that the blood clot that partially or completely block the blood flow from the liver, that is Budd-Chiari syndrome. That is hepatic venous thrombosis. Then next one is the inferior vena cava obstruction. Inferior vena cava obstruction. The inferior vena cava, the main function of the inferior vena cava is that collecting the deoxygenated blood from the lower part of the body. Okay, that is inferior vena cava. Okay, the inferior vena cava obstruction, that's one of the cause of the post-hepatic cause of portal hypertension. Next is the cardiac causes. First one is restrictive cardiomyopathy, constrictive pericarditis, severe congestive cardiac failure. These are the cardiac causes. Restrictive cardiomyopathy. Cardiomyopathy. What is cardiomyopathy? Enlargement of the heart. That is cardiomyopathy. Then constrictive pericarditis, infection of the pericardium. Then severe congestive cardiac failure. Okay, these are the Three main causes are hepatic, prehepatic, and post-hepatic causes of portal hypertension. Next is the pathophysiology. The increased resistance to portal blood flow, the gradual reduction in the flow of the portal blood to the liver, development of the collateral vessel allowing portal blood to bypass the liver and enter the systemic circulation directly. Portal flow increase in the splanchnic bed due to splanchnic vasodilation and increased cardiac output. That's cause the portal hypertension. This is the pathophysiology of the portal hypertension. Next, the clinical features. These clinical features are closely similar to the clinical features of the liver cirrhosis. Okay, the effect of portal hypertension that cause the esophageal varices. The esophageal varices that's cause the melena. Melena means the blood in the stool. Okay, and hematemesis. The peptic ulcer. The peptic ulcer is one of the cause of the melena. Then splenomegaly, enlargement of the liver, caput medusae, ascites. What is caput medusae? The enlargement of the blood vessel. Okay, visibly showing the enlarged blood vessel in the abdomen. That is caput medusae. Then ascites, enlargement of the abdomen. That's more commonly caused by the accumulation of the fluid in the peritoneal cavity, that is ascites. Next is a portal hypertensive gastropathy, then anorectal varices. The baki other symptoms that's same like the liver cirrhosis. Okay, the effect of the liver cell failure, hepatic encephalopathy, scleral icterus, then fetor hepaticus, that is the breath smell musty, then spider navy, gynecomastia, jaundice, testicular atrophy, then liver flap, asterixis, the bleeding tendency, anemia, angled edema. Next is the diagnostic measures are blood count, LFD, indirect measurement of the portal pressure, esophagogastroduodenoscopy, USG, MRI, liver angiography, arteriography. Next is the complications of variceal bleeding, congestive gastropathy, hypersplenism, ascites, iron deficiency anemia, liver failure, hepatic encephalopathy. Management, general measures, specific measures. The treatment of the esophageal varices, treatment of ascites. General measures are anticoagulation for Budd-Chiari syndrome, then treatment of hepatic causes. The management of bleeding varices, admit the patient to ICU, secure to large bore IV line, administer the Ringerlater, that is RL, then monitor vital signs and urine output, blood transfusion, correct coagulopathy, prevent the hepatic encephalopathy. Hepatic encephalopathy means the loss of brain function when the damaged liver does not remove the toxins from the blood that cause the hepatic encephalopathy. For that, the management is the bowel wash that decreases the ammonia from the gut, lactose that acidifies colon, then oral Hyomycin. The 1 gram 6 hourly it suppresses the urease containing bacteria. These are the management of the bleeding virus. The next management are the endoscopic examination of the bleeding is severe, that is the esophageal balloon tamponade to achieve the temporary hemostasis, then sclerotherapy, then banding. Drugs are vasopressin, the 20 to 40 unit IV in 200 ml of 5% dextrose IV over 10 minutes and maybe repeat at 2 to 4 hour interval till bleeding stop. Then octreotide, that is the 50 microgram bolus followed by the 50 microgram per hour infusion for the 5 days. This management of the bleeding varices. The next management are the surgical management, that is a transjugular intrahepatic post systemic shunt. Okay, what is a shunt? Shunt means the small passage hole which allow the movement of fluid from one part of the body to another part. Okay, that is a shunt therapy. Then the splenectomy, removal of the spleen, gastroesophageal devascularization, then esophageal transection, liver transplantation. Next, the management of ascites. The first one is salt restriction, stop alcohol, correct electrolyte imbalance, direct is spironolactone, IV albumin therapy, abdominal parasynthesis. Abdominal parasynthesis is a procedure to removing the excess fluid from the peritoneal cavity. Abdominal parasynthesis, stent surgery, that is peritovenous shunting. Then TIPS, that is transjugular intrahepatic portosystemic shunt. The liver transplantation. The nursing care plan. The excess fluid volume related to compromised regulatory mechanism as evidenced by ascites, jugular vein distension, anasarca. Measure the intake and output, wait daily, assess the respiratory status and cardiac dysarrhythmia. They measure the abdominal girth, monitor serum albumin electrolyte, restrict sodium and fluid. The next nursing diagnosis is the ineffective breathing pattern related to ascites and fatigue. The management is the monitor respiratory status, check the level of consciousness, monitor ABG, then supplemental oxygen paracentesis shunting procedure. Next diagnosis, risk for injury related to abnormal blood profile, portal hypertension and varices. Check the signs of bleeding, monitor the vital signs, encourage use of soft toothbrush, electric razor, avoiding the staining for stool and vigorous nose blowing and so forth. Use a small needle for injection. Supplemental vitamins K, D and C assist with the insertion and maintenance of the GI tube. Okay, these all are about the portal hypertension. Okay, what is portal hypertension? Increase the pressure in the portal vein. Okay, it's more than 5 mm Hg. The three types are the hepatic, prehepatic and post-hepatic.